Greetings, gods and goddess. I am your host, the non-Greek god Immortal Brando. I am joined here by these unfortunate victims of mine. Let's start with from the top one here. Gamma Eli. Introduce yourself, you worm.
Yo, what's good? My name's Eli, and I'm about to show Aphrodite who's boss.
Renegade Operative. Speak up.
Those centaurs are hot, man. Half human, half horse. No, I ain't say nothing.
Okay, so you into the thick thighs. I got you. Respect. Superior artist. You may speak.
No, I'm no longer called that, but what's up, everybody? Just here talking with these fine fellows about some God of War games and God of War in general. Glad to be here.
All right. All right, now Warlord Slasher. Introduce yourself.
I am the almighty Slasher, and I'm the only guy who's played all the God of War games, evidently.
This man's a fucking soldier. God bless him.
Hey, I played in every single game. I don't have a real badge of honor here.
Oh, I'll get there eventually. I played them 2018. That was long as fuck.
Yeah, well, that's the longest one by far.
Oh yeah.
All right. To start this God slaying party, I will rip number one. How did you get formally introduced into the God of War franchise? Tell us your first experience with the series. And I'll let you go first in this one. How I first got into the series, my cousins had a copy of God of War 2. Because I knew about the game's existence a long time ago because I saw a commercial for the PSP game, Blade of Olympus, on TV. So that's how I knew the series existed, though. My first time playing it, my first game was actually God of War 2. Now, fast forward, my friend had both God of War 1 and 2, I believe. So I borrowed his copy of God of War 1. I beat that. And then I went out and bought my own copies of 1 and 2. And before I had a PS3 though, so I didn't have 3 at the time, so it's only 1 and 2 for me. But yeah, since then I was hooked and I played every single God of War since then.
I feel like
go next?
I'll go next, real quick.
Right.
I think X-Play is really good for this stuff because all I remember is that they reviewed this game, God of War, and I was like, okay, it's cool and everything, hack and slash. And then they show gameplay, and then I remember just that one line being said by Adam Sessler, and he said, you can rip people apart with your bare hands, and Kratos actually did it. And I was like, okay, I'm sold. I gotta get this game, I gotta find it. I need to get my hands on it immediately, and I was not disappointed when I played it for the first time, I think around like 05, 06, and honestly, it's such a good game. The exploring, the graphics, the brutality, the story, it's just so goddamn good, and honestly, I'm just very glad that it's like a hack and slash where they almost like mix it with Mortal Kombat in a sense, where it's all bloody and everything, and that's just it. That makes it like so cool when you compare it to like stuff like DMC is a little bit different. So that's my
For sure.
That's my story on God of War. X-Play is the gods.
Was upon a time, yes.
Yeah.
Taurus, man, you say you want to go next, right?
Yeah. I got into the franchise after watching my dad play God of War 1 and 2, I believe. So when after watching him play and see all how crazy Kratos was, all the combos, the killing, and even though it doesn't really show it, obviously you know what's going on, the sex scenes, I was like, oh, I gotta play this game. I played 1 and 2 very like religiously back on PS2. I did play one of the PSP spinoffs. I played Chains of Olympus on one of my I think it was one of my sister's ex's PSP. I played through the entirety of God of War Chains of Olympus on that thing. I did not get a PS3 to play God of War 3 or Ascension. I did eventually play God of War 3 on PS4. I did play Ascension on PS Now, but wasn't a good experience because it was PS Now. And I played 2018. So I played a good portions of the game, a good majority of the game. We're just missing like two of them to say that yes, I beat all the God of War games. But yeah, that's how it went.
Actually, fun fact: I played God of War Ascension first on PS Now, but back when it was on PS3, and I had like no problems with any game on PS Now via the PS3 version. But I did revisit it recently on PS4, and it was a mess. So they made a mistake getting rid of the PC version of PS Now, because that was honestly the god way to play PS Now. But
Well, I had
different subject.
Oh my bad. I was gonna say I only had PS Now for like a 7-day trial, so I couldn't really get very far, even if I wanted to, because I wasn't gonna pay.
Yeah, same here, because both times were free trials, because they reset my free trial for when I played on PS4.
Yeah.
But Eli, you want to go next?
Yeah, I got a story. My uncle was the reason why I got into this series. When I was little, I would watch him play it on the OG PS2, God of War 1. And by the time he got to God of War 2, he got really stuck on one of the puzzles in the beginning of the game. It's the one where you had to like put a soldier in like a lake so he could like trigger a button, find some spikes, and because of that, my mom and I had to go get the strategy guide just for him to find that out. Later on, as I got older, I got the Vita, and I was able to play both the God of War 1 and 2. And when 2018 was announced, I got God of War 3 on the PS4. So I played all the first 3 games, minus the PSP games. And I also played God of War 2018.
We're in the same damn boat, except I haven't played like Ascension single player, like the same
I haven't
damn
played that
boat.
either. I haven't played that either.
Oh man, see, there you go. It's always
I never
Ascension.
played the multiplayer.
I played the multiplayer, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I couldn't play it because nobody was playing it. Slash, you want to go?
Well, the first experience I had with God of War was like I think it was a little bit before the game released. Back in those days when you could get like demos in magazines, my cousin he brought in demo disc for God of War. I think it was the E3 2004 demo where you started out with like the level 3 Chaos Blaze, and it was just basically the first level up to the main Hydra fight. That's where the demo ended. So we played the game and we were like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. You can do like all these types of like brutal stuff to like the enemies. You can tear them apart. You can just beat them with your fist. And we were like, wow, this is pretty good. And the game was gonna release, I think, a couple of days or maybe weeks. It was early March, if I remember right. And so we went and we got it, and when the second game came out, I actually didn't even know they were making a second game up until one day I just went to like gaming website like 2007, and I saw like God of War 2, and I was like, oh, holy shit, they're making another one. And like about a year after release, I got it like back like 2008. I played it through on backwards compatible PS3, and after that, I kind of like started following gaming news and whatnot, and that's when I found out about God of War 3. And since I already had a PS3 by the time, I went and I got it like on release date. As for God of War Ascension, I didn't really play that game on launch or anywhere near like its time of release. I played it like years later. We're talking like about 4 years ago was the first time I played it. I got it digitally on the PS3, and around the same time I got like the HD collections for like the PSP games, and as well as the PS2 as the PS2 remasters. And that's how I got to play them. I platinum basically the HD collection, both HD collections, and God of War 3. And I didn't play God of War 2018 until it went on sale for $30. Only played it once. That's pretty much my history with the God of War series.
I have a curious question before we go into question number 2. It won't take long. But did you platinum 2018 since you played it only once?
I didn't platinum 2018. I was like, this game is already long enough. I had my fun.
Oh, okay, I get you.
Wuss. That's good. Yeah, we're done here, right? So what's the real number 2? Any, mini, money, Eli.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna volunteer anyway. For question number 2, what are your favorite secrets and Easter eggs within the God of War franchise?
Oh, this is easy.
I will say what everyone is thinking. The bathhouse scene in God of War 2.
Are you talking about the one where it's like there's a little wall and you can fuck both of the maidens back there?
Oh yeah.
Actually, for years I didn't know that was there. I thought God of War 2 didn't have any sex scenes or anything in relation to that, because it wasn't as straightforward as was the other games, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you had to break down anything in the bathhouse, which ironically you get red orbs for, and then you could go and bang some chicks, it felt admittedly kind of out of place in a way, because you just got done getting tossed aside by a statue, and Kratos went in and get some ass by some 2 women, right? I'm like, okay.
They got to recover somehow.
Oh man.
Restore my stamina.
Charge his batteries.
It's like this thing threw me through a wall. Time to get my dick wet.
Essentially.
My God. I think I always knew. It's like it was already weird that this thing was there in the first place. So I'm like, what would happen if I decided to like hit it and then I got the sex scene? So I'm like, okay. But I think the best one is obviously in God of War 3. Look, Aphrodite, her minions are watching and you are plowing her like no tomorrow. So I'm like, this is good. And I got a trophy for that. I forgot what it was called though. It's called something, but you know.
Let me find it.
You know there was a fourth wall breaking joke during that sex scene?
I did not know that actually.
I think one of the females said parents should let their kids watching this.
Oh. It's an M-rated game, people. Come on.
The trophy's name is Ladies Man, where you successfully entertain Aphrodite.
Also, don't screw up the prompts. Yeah.
Yeah, the girls look at you like a beta male.
Have you ever failed that minigame?
I failed it once because I thought the square was circle, because they were repeatedly pressing circle on the prompt.
Don't worry, I'm sure that happens on everyone's first time.
Sounds like a sexual innuendo, but you know.
Ironic enough because I failed it the first time.
Wow.
Okay, you know what? My favorite secret here is actually the phone calls, because you guys should call up these numbers that they give you. Which, by the way, I actually looked online about the Easter egg for that. So I literally went on my way to call those numbers, and they had one of them was David Jaffe getting destroyed by Kratos.
I remember that one.
Oh God.
Wait, what do you mean by destroyed? Like sexually or fisticuffs?
He got murdered.
Oh,
no, whichever you prefer.
Killed.
I don't think I want to prefer the former. So, but yeah, I remember the phone calls. Are they still like active?
As of 2021, I am not sure actually, but yeah, I'm sure you could get on my YouTube. So like, there's that to consider.
Trying to also think of like secrets. You know, one thing I really did like was the story setup that they had in God of War with the treasures. If you beat the game, you can see like all the concept ideas they had of Kratos having a brother, or Kratos doing these things, meeting his mom and killing her and stuff like that. And then I think
right. They also have blue tattoo Kratos.
Blue tattoo Kratos. That I need to see because I don't remember that.
In the first game, and there was actually like a statue of him with blue tattoos. Like his concept color was gonna be blue instead of red.
Oh, okay.
What, Kratos originally gonna be an airbender?
No.
Funny.
Yeah. What about the little museum that you got after beating the game, where you could see like all the beta monsters and concept monsters, and at one point like one of the descriptions for the Cyclops, like David Jaffe was like, "Oh yeah, I wanted to give them dicks. I want the Cyclops to have dicks, but the SRB told me no."
This dude is a crazy man.
Okay, but not dicks.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that was actually kept in the game?
Well, I mean, this is diverging a little bit, but if you play that game, friggin' Dante's Inferno, they have that is all there.
Oh.
So if you want to,
Well,
and ironically, it's a God of War clone.
well, here's something funny too. For the quick time events on the Cyclops, you actually punch him in the groin and then go underneath him.
Yeah.
So maybe
so
that was
like
always
imagine they
intended.
actually have dicks there, right? So that would look even more painful.
Seems like that was always intended then, but they're like, no, we can't have this. So
Yeah, because he was like, I want everybody I wanted the monsters to look like animals in the zoo, so they all had to have dicks. Everybody had to have a dick.
this guy is crazy.
Yes, he is.
In a fun way, he's crazy.
Yeah.
So in regards to Easter eggs, I think my favorite is actually the Sea Captain, who always appears in most of the mainline games, or is at least referenced.
I swear he was like, okay, he was killed like in the first one, then in Hades he was pushed off or something, then he died as a ghost in the second game from what I remember.
Third, he was mentioned, and then 2018 mentions him as well.
That guy
Like
can't,
he always somehow keeps coming back.
he can't catch a fucking break. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's a recurring, I guess, meme in the games.
You know,
Was he in God of War 3? He was in Hades, I think, like on the underworld.
Yeah, he was mentioned at least. I'm hazy if he actually makes a physical appearance.
Yeah.
I just want him to get killed by Atreus, complete the cycle.
And the cycle of violence.
All right. Actually, you know what? I have
some...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
I got a few. Well, I only got like one or two favorite Easter eggs from God of War. Well, I think it was one. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, the one from 2018. I did I found out about this one not too long ago. After your first fight with Baldur, apparently off camera he flips off Kratos while his head snapped off.
Huh? I've never. Well, it's off camera, but I've never heard of this. Wow.
Yeah, apparently someone found out about that last year, and I was like, "Got this man flip Kratos off."
I didn't even know that happened.
Should have showed that. It would have been even funnier. But I guess we can move
We're
on.
done with this question.
Yeah, we can move
Actually, you know
on.
what? I have a side question because I don't think this one's in the doc. But you know what? It's horny jail time, boys. What was your favorite sex mini game in the series?
3.
3.
3.
3?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, 3.
Look, everyone
All
wanted to.
entertainment.
Look, Aphrodite was hot. She's the hottest one. Everyone wanted to nail her, and I guess I don't know. I had this like preconceived notion that friggin' the other two girls would join in, so it'd be like a foursome, but that never happened.
I'm in
More
opinion
more
of
like eat
the,
some.
In one of the PSP games, you actually do bang 2 chicks.
well, actually, okay, yes, the Change of Olympus, you actually bang twins in the jail cell, but also in Ghost of Sparta, you go into a brothel in Sparta, and Kratos has like I think 6 women.
Oh, yeah.
and-
What?
yeah, because he carries 2 women with him, and then other women jumped into the bed with him.
Got a whole harem like Tenchi Muyo out here.
Essentially,
Yeah.
You know, I do have another question along with that horny joke.
Go ahead.
With all the women that Kratos banged through God of War 1 and a few of the PSPs, do you think he has he got some of them chicks pregnant? Like he has more kids out there he doesn't know?
Probably does.
Probably.
Well, the
well, I
world
mean,
did-
they're most likely dead though, considering God of War 3 happened. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was about to say.
He has a new son.
He's running a full suits on everybody.
He has a new son named Ashy.
Zeus. Oh god, him and Zeus have something in common. They continue fucking everything.
Yeah.
My God.
All right, enough horny Joe. Question number 3. He wants to read that one off. Ren.
Who is your favorite / least favorite enemy in the God of War franchise?
He did it for me. There you go.
Thanks, Ren. Appreciate it.
No problem.
I wanted to read that one.
He's black.
All right, least favorite enemy. Oh crap, there's a lot of them actually. But I think it should be narrowed down to game though. But I'll keep it brief. I played 3 recently because I was recording for Renegade here. I really hate the super armored enemies in that game because no matter what you do, if you don't do another strong attack before they attack you, they would constantly hit you at your combos, and it's annoying to deal with those guys. And I forgot what the name called though, but essentially they're wearing like this gold armor. If you beat them up enough, the armor will chip away and they become like cannon fodder, like the usual guys.
I think I know what you're talking about. I forgot what they're
I
called.
hate the Medusa enemies. Fuck those.
Which one? The slow drain ones or the fast ones?
I guess the fast ones.
Because the fast ones, like they're thick, like literally huge, and they just instantly freeze you with their beams.
Yeah.
That's I got killed on one of my recordings because of that. Because I accidentally jumped and she froze me in midair.
I really hate those goat motherfuckers that show up like
the satyrs.
Those guys that show up like late God of War 1, mainly because they have so much HP, but those guys can easily counter you, and like the attack where they stab you and they throw you. That just does way too much.
The best way
damage.
to deal with them is just to constantly grab them. Like literally just do the quick time event. Like is no other way to deal with them efficiently without getting annoyed.
Yeah, especially like in the harder difficulties, you just have to like grab spam them until they die.
But I will say this though, they have a really, really cool design in God of War 3. So I can at least appreciate that.
Yeah.
But you know something stupid in God of War 3? They can actually grab you out of your Blade of Olympus mode with their little hook. God, those guys are annoying on Chaos mode, especially.
Oh yeah. That is true. Also the what are they called? Is those is those guys that show up in they're centaurs, right? I don't know. I didn't really like those because for some reason I always felt that mini game where you had to do like the half motion on the analog stick. I don't know if it was my analog stick, but at the time when I played God of War 3, I just kept failing them and I didn't even know why. Maybe it was me, maybe it was my controller. I got better at fighting them though.
I always thought the Chimera enemy in God of War 3 was fun to fight. It was like half snake, half minotaur, half like lion or something, or tiger. I don't know what the hell it was, but
there's a lion.
Yeah, those were fun to fight. Like I like that you could cut off their tail and they would try to spit acid at you and they would throw fire. It's just a bunch of shit you have to deal with, which is fun to fight, and then it goes into another phase once you blind it, and then you can kill it for good. The thing that I hate the most, like least favorite enemies, would be satyrs. Fuck them, fuck their mother, fuck the hole they crawled under. I just, when you fight them on Challenge of the Gods, and we'll get to that like later on, when you fight them there at the last stage, it is the worst thing I have ever experienced in life. Like, fighting them is already hard enough, and obviously you can grab spam them, but fighting them on a limited platform is the worst. And that's my like favorite and least favorite. Anyone else?
Oh, we're going on favorites. I was thinking this least favorite. Shit. I can get my least favorite real quick. I would say my least favorites are the Minotaurs in God of War 3, the Sirens in God of War 1, and in 2018, the Revenants. You cannot hit them unless Atreus shoots their shoots arrows at them.
I'm trying to remember the Revenants, but they already sound annoying to me.
Yeah, those enemies, you cannot hit them as Kratos. I'm assuming it's a she. She is too fast for you to hit.
One enemy I didn't like in that game is
hit who?
The Revenants in God of War 2018.
Are those
2018.
Yeah.
What are those that like throw magic at you from a distance?
Oh, those things. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I hate those from 2018.
Yeah, the little witches.
2018 has quite a few of trash enemies. I'm not gonna lie, but that was definitely one of them.
I didn't like the flying, I don't know, dark elf thing. Those got on my nerves too, because when they fly away, you can't hit them.
Yeah.
No, you can't jump either. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can't. You really fucking can't. It's not a lie. So anyone else on this?
Going once?
Going twice?
Going twice?
Sold.
Sold to Aphrodite. All right, number 4.
Yes, I'll read it. I'll read it. Who is your? I mean, I was misreading already. What the fuck? Who is your favorite / least favorite boss battle in the God of War franchise?
Ooh,
Does
that's a hard one.
count?
No,
I got a few good ones.
I'm gonna say that I really like the Poseidon battle at the beginning of God of War 3.
Yeah,
I really liked it because it felt like the game opened up in a really big way. Like at the end when you just like grab Poseidon, and just like
yeah,
stab his
that
eyes
shit was
out,
cool.
and then you snap his neck. I was like, that's a really cool way to open up the game, and then the entire world floods. That was pretty cool.
Actually, I'm gonna be honest here though. I think God of War 3 had the best bosses. Even the worst one is still good.
Oh,
In my
yeah.
honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of them are memorable in one way or another, dude. Like freaking Hades, like going toe to toe with someone else that uses chain-based weapons, then going against Hercules, that who can challenge you in raw strength, and then of course motherfucking Zeus.
Oh yes.
So like,
Don't forget about Kratos.
Kronos, yeah,
Don't forget-
Kronos, the Scorpion. No, there's a lot of good bosses in the game.
You can't forget Hermes. How satisfying he is.
Yeah, beating his ass, yeah, it's satisfying.
Fucking
that-
chop his legs off.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's the guy who you cut off his legs, and I think everyone talks about the one where he rips the guy's head off. I think it was Helios.
Helios.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like that game has so many memorable moments, memorable bosses, like legit 1v1 bosses, you know, all that shit. Like God of War 3 is just goddamn like almost a perfect game.
Baldur was a pretty entertaining fight in 2018.
Yeah, Baldur was a good fight though, but I will argue that it was probably God of War's one of 2 strongest bosses.
Mm-hmm.
To be quite frank though, God of War 2018 has a lot of whack bosses, or at least reused and weak bosses, comparison to the rest of the series.
Trolls.
Oh, okay, I got my list. My list is I just thought it all out.
Yeah.
Okay, for God of War 1, okay, who was that? I'm trying to figure who's the very first boss fight that I think that it was a creature.
The Hydra.
Yeah,
The Hydra.
That was a really good one. Almost Ares from God of War 1. You know, the thing with God of War 1, that game had a lot of good boss fights, so I forgot the names of some of those boss fights. That's the only thing.
In fairness though, God of War 1 did only have like 4 boss fights, so at least all of them are good in one regard.
Yeah. God of War 2, the statue. And God of War 2, that one dude you fought in, well, you didn't technically fight him.
Barbarian.
The barbarian. The Sisters of Fate. Your first time, first time fighting Zeus. And in God of War 3, shit, I like every boss fight in God of War 3 except for Hades. That's the only fight I found annoying.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't care for the fight for Hades that much. I mean, it was cool, but I don't know. I felt a little drawn out, in my opinion, in some points.
He can though, but at the same time, you could argue Zeus is as well because you fight him like 4 stages.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, Hades was pretty difficult on my first playthrough.
I actually like the build up to Hades because you go to hell, and then you kind of like make your way to like the his palace, his throne room. You see his wife that you beat up in Chains of Olympus. That was pretty cool. I really like the build up to Hades.
I like that
Wait
too.
a minute.
Huh?
I just remembered there's another boss fight in God of War 3. It's actually worse than Hades in my opinion. The spider boss fight. I did not like that.
Yeah, I can agree though. Yeah, like I said, it is a weak boss fight though, but I still think it's like a standout boss fight in comparison to like others in the series.
Yeah, and then for 2018, Baldur and a few of the Valkyrie fights, even though they kind of have a repeated pattern, they were kind of fun. And for my least favorites, I already said my least favorite ones is every troll boss fight in God of War 2018. It's like you fought one, reskin, and then we say, you know what? Let's bring out 2 of them.
They don't.
We know we know you're not annoyed by the trolls at this point. Let's bring out 2 of them at the same time.
What about the Valkyries?
Yeah, I like the Valkyries though. Just the one I like the least is the Queen, only because she has everything that she throw at you, and she's kind of can get pretty damn tough.
Dude, it's that
Yep.
fucking grab. Oh my god, I was so mad, dude, because she kept doing it. Valhalla, no, oh man.
Valhalla! Valhalla!
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Valhalla!
fuck it. I just lowered the difficulty for the Valkyrie fights. I was like, I'm not gonna deal with this shit. This
I don't-
game is like my problem with God of War 2018 is the fact that it was like it's an RPG, so it's really long, and by the end, I was like, fuck it, I'm not even gonna bother with this shit. It's gonna lower the difficulty because some of these bitches are really fucking annoying.
Right.
I did like every trial on. I think it was the difficulty that was like one step below Give Me God of War. I forgot what it's called though.
Give me a challenge.
Yeah, give me a challenge, and my god, I can't imagine fighting those stupid Valkyries. Well, I guess at that point maybe you'll have a good setup, but it's still gonna be annoying on Give Me God of War. So yeah, I guess I can like delve into mines real quick because I'm not gonna take too long. As for favorite, I would say I really enjoyed Zeus from God of War 2. It was cool.
Oh yeah.
A lot of set piece moments, and I like the trick that Kratos did where he's like, I'm gonna lay down my arm and trick you, so come kill me, and then he turns around and he knocks the sword out of his hands, and it's so awesome.
Okay, question. Have you seen a death scene for that?
I have actually, where he like embeds the sword in his head.
He slides down
Oh,
when he
damn.
falls.
Yeah, he slides down. It's like, well, that shit's so funny. And I guess for like least favorite, I gotta go with the trolls. I just thought they were uninspired, and you think like after a while you see them and they turn like different colors, they have like different properties, but it really is just the same old bosses over and over with no variation. So that's my list.
Yeah.
I found this
I-
fun, actually.
I agree on the trolls. They're like it's just the same one, but they kind of like gain them slightly. They are the equivalent of Bowser from Mario 64, where it's just literally the same fight. They just kind of add a little bit to it, but it's still the same fight.
Yeah, the one thing that the Valkyries do is that each one you fight though will have maybe something that's identical to the other though, but another thing that'll be drastic from the others. So at least to keep the fight keep those girls on your toes, right? So like you cannot expect to go and do the same thing, right? Whereas the trolls though, like different really is their element, because if they throw fire, that shit's gonna hurt, and through ice or whatever, right? Compared to like getting stumped to death by a Valkyrie or getting suplex. No.
Yeah, the only kind of cool troll was the one you fight in hell. I thought that was cool, but it felt kind of random as well, because it's like, well, we got to put something here. This is the end segment, so let's put this guy, and that was it. Other than that, I really didn't like those enemy types.
Yeah. What about that? One boss that I didn't like in God of War 2, mainly because I think it was like just too plain and a little bit like you cannot like unforgettable to say, like it's forgetful in a way. It was that monster that shows up like near the end of God of War 2, like that monster that has like the tentacles, and you have to like
the Kraken. Yeah.
You see, nobody remembers that boss.
Yeah, he's he could have been done better.
I remember that fight only because the scene that happened beforehand. Kratos accidentally killing his comrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that. Oh.
See, nobody remembers that guy.
The only thing I remember from the end of God of War 2 is that fat thing you fight.
That's
Sister of Fate.
Yep.
Yes, it's Fate, yeah.
Gosh, he's ugly.
It is really fat. Like, we're talking gelatinous blob, like jello pudding.
Like
She
the
has
pale
all
lady
those-
from...
She has all those titties too, like she's covering titties.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, remember the pale lady?
No. All right, I guess we're done here, right? Anybody else? Going once? Going twice?
So,
All right, so to Kratos. All right. What's this one? Number 5? I'll read this one off. What is your favorite / least favorite weapon in the God of War franchise? And also, I want to add on to this. What is also your favorite or least favorite magic in the series? So I guess I'll go first here, though. Personally, like if we exclude like the basic weapons you get in the start of every game, My favorite weapon, unironically, would be the Spear of Destiny from 2 or the Blade of Olympus. Because the Spear of Destiny is quite something different that you don't see a lot in hack and slash games. So I appreciate the ability to use a spear the way it's designed. On top of that, you can line explosive crystals on the ground and blow shit up. Like that shit is cool. And then my favorite basic weapons would be the Blades of Exile, only because aesthetically they look nice. But to give like a backup, it would be Blades of Athena when they're in the god form, when they're gold and blue instead of the red and orange type thing. Now, least favorite weapons, it would probably be the Barbarian Hammer. I don't like using that weapon so much.
Yeah.
Eli, I'm sorry. What?
Oh, what about magic, sir?
I'll go magic in a minute. Eli, want to speak up?
Good.
I was gonna say, can we just appreciate how awesome the Leviathan axe looks?
Yeah, that's cool. At least the blade help portion of it.
That's what I consider my favorite one. Least favorite. Did you get a weapon? Or was...
Well, you mean the Nemesis what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wait, that's God of War 3, right?
Yeah, the Nemesis whip. That weapons are freaking fun as fuck to use.
That's the green one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember like God of War 3 was that one God of War where it's like they just gave you a couple of different like blade types,
Color palette.
similar to like Blades of Chaos, but not really. So it was like Hades, you had your own unique properties, you could soul suck and do all that stuff, spawn enemies, and then the Nemesis whip was like the one where you could do the electricity.
Electric ball. Yeah, you could also increase it at higher levels, and it would become like a chain lightning. So it's really powerful magic. Probably the strongest one in the game.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not actually sure what my least favorite would be. I kind of like them all.
Alright,
What's the
my
one you
least
use the
favorite-
least?
yeah.
I guess the Claws of Hades.
That's not a bad weapon though. Son, that's not that bad.
I mean, it's either that or the Nemean Cestus.
I
forgot which one.
like that weapon, but I do agree the novelty wears off when you realize that is very, very CQC. You have to be like super close to stuff to really do some damage.
Right, the bright side is that it shreds larger enemies because since they're slower, you can evade those properly.
That's true.
Yeah.
And plus, it was introduced in the cutscene where you're beating the holy fuck out of Hercules. That was great.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
That was a hyper shit.
It knocked his face off. It was brilliant.
I guess for me, I guess my favorite weapon would be like that that big blade that you get in God of War 1. I forgot
the
what
Blade
it's
of
called.
Artemis.
Yeah, mainly because it was really cool that no matter how you sliced up your enemies, you will always like cut them in half.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually my favorite weapon to use in God of War 1. Even if I think you don't get any red orbs from killing enemies like that, I still like really like using it, upgrading it. And I guess as well, my second favorite will be something along the lines of the Blade of Olympus, mainly because it looks something really cool. Like it doesn't even look like a Western design. It looks like something a Japanese person made.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah, mainly because of like the blue light, how gold it is. It looks really cool. Like as for magic, my favorite magic will be the lightning of Zeus, because I just kind of like the idea of being able to throw like lightning at people. That to me, like when I first saw it, when you first get it and Kratos like first holds it, that I was like, oh yeah, that just looks really cool. Even if it was kind of useless against like close range enemies, but it was still pretty fun. As for my least favorite weapon, it was like that. I think it's the whip as well, because I don't know, I just didn't like it in God of War 3. That the one like the variation of the blades that's green, that's the whip, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thing.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it. I felt like it was way too weak.
They're actually not weak. They're the way to use those weapons is like they're very DPS focused, and not to mention that the best AOE effects with some of their attacks, and not to mention if you hold down their attack buttons, you actually get gold orbs, which fills up your Rachel Sparta meter.
Well, I wish I'd known that earlier. Then maybe I would appreciate it more. But for God of War 3, my favorite like blade, like variation of the blades will be the Hades blades. I don't know. I just thought they look cool, just hooking onto people and ripping out their souls. That's really cool.
I can really appreciate that in God of War 3, each weapon has its own unique magic, as opposed to like how the other games did it, where it's all magic and only like 2 weapons at most.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like that's the good thing about God of War 3, that like all the weapons were like variation of your standard Chaos blades or Athena blades, whatever it was.
The Exile bleeds.
Yeah, the Exile blade. Yeah, Exile blades. Yeah.
The Blaze of Exile. Well, I think all of them have like differing names between each of the 3 main games, right?
Yes, Chaos from Ares, Athena from Athena, and Exile also from Athena.
Yeah. I thought that was cool, to be honest, and I think they went back to. Is it still Blaze of Chaos now in 2018 or something?
Yes, Blaze of Chaos.
Yes.
For some reason, it's Blaze of Chaos, which doesn't make sense, but that's a different story.
Yeah, I figured I'd ask because I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's what they called him in 2018 when Kratos picked him up, but that's another story. I guess my favorite weapon would be, obviously it's a no-brainer, Blade of Olympus. I really like it. It's cool. It's also like really cool when it was introduced and you could body like the statue with it. I thought that was dope. And then the one that is my least favorite probably would be most of the weapons from God of War 2, and definitely that barbarian hammer because it's slow. Even the AoE where you do the giant jump and then he does the ground pound and there's flame that comes out of it, it takes so long to do. It's very useless in my opinion. But yeah, that's my favorites and least favorites for weapons.
All right, I guess we'll go do magic now, or let's Tarzan went.
Yeah, I didn't even go. Jeez,
I forgot you exist.
Don't worry, I do too.
Go ahead, Black.
My favorite weapons in God of War series, Blades of Exile. I like the way they look in the Nemean Cestus. That's what you call them, right?
Yes. Nemean Cestus.
Blades of Olympus. Wait, I said it right. The Blade of. Okay, yeah, I said it right. My bad. And no one said his axe. I like the axe in 2018, and my least favorite weapons is the Nemesis whip. And this one's kind of controversial. Even though it's cool they brought back the Blades of Chaos in God of War 2018, I did not like using them in that game.
Heathenism.
Interesting. Even David Jaffe was like, "Look, my boys are back in town." That was so great.
I felt that reaction. I was smiling the whole time I was using those things, man. I'm like, finally, I'm playing God of War again, not Skyrim.
It's like, I don't know. It felt like they made the axe better than the Blades of Chaos. I don't know.
For one, the axe is meant for more raw damage versus AoE and DPS. So like, you gotta use treasure. That's how to use these weapons. But for me, I just use the Blades of Chaos because, well, Zara's are strong on their own, especially when you upgrade them correctly.
And of course, they're still fun to use. They're still fun to use. Just like compared to the old games, they're way more fun to use in the older God of War games.
I definitely agree, especially since how the gameplay is structured. And in 2018, though, they're definitely a lot better in old games.
Yeah. The Blades of Chaos were indeed pretty fun in 2018, mainly because it's fun seeing Kratos try to act his moves, but with a third-person camera. At first, it looks kind of funky, but then when you realize how good it is at clearing out enemies, you're like, oh yeah, this is actually pretty fun.
But no, at least though, one complaint I do have is like the animations is not as fluid as they were in the other games.
No,
Yeah.
they're not. That's why I said it looked kind of funky when you like first use them, because Kratos is trying to like act out all these moves, and like from third person perspective instead of like overhead or fixed camera.
Yeah. I do like about that move when you first get the Blades of Chaos, because it's like, hey, this is the only part in the game where there's no annoying kid telling you, "Dad, behind you, look out!"
Father,
Yeah,
no, hey,
you have a head for that.
Head.
Just shut
Alright.
up, boy.
I'm gonna go ahead and do my favorite magic. So honestly, my favorite one is honestly really hard. A really hard one though, but I gotta go with maybe Poseidon's Rage. Only because, especially in 2, is so busted. It hits outside the camera range and it still damages enemies. Like, that move is too strong. There's no reason for it to be that strong.
oh yeah.
And I guess like runner-ups. I guess the Army of Hades from God of War 1, because they're really damn strong as well when you have them maxed out. Destroys pretty much anything, even Ares.
I'm gonna have to go with Army of Hades, and as a runner-up, I like the lightning bolt from Zeus. That was really cool to use as a weapon.
Yeah, those were fun though, but I didn't like using them because they drain too much magic just to kill one enemy, where I could just, do, let's say, Poseidon's Rage and get the same results. I wish the balancing was a little better in it.
That's true, but at least like for me, when you get to level 3 and you deal with those long range people, it's really helpful in a sense, especially like on God
Charger
mode.
mode?
Yeah, because I felt like for that mode in particular and the arrow guys, they kind of got on your nerves for a while.
I also really like probably most of you who didn't play like the PSP games now, but there's this one called Ifrit, where like you summon this big dude that just does like a bunch of fucking AoE damage. Think of it
Hulk
as like,
smash the ground.
yeah, it's kind of similar to like the one from like that one move from God of War 2, where Kratos basically just like hits the ground.
Atlas Quake.
Yeah, Ifrit's pretty similar like that, but I just like the idea of like summoning this big like ghost dude, kind of like a JoJo stand, just fuck shit up.
Actually, no, hold on. I actually got a backtrack real quick. This one skill actually I will say is probably the best one out of all the magics, if you count as that. Darrow's Bane from Ghost of Sparta. Why? Because you can literally lit up your weapons and Titan's magic, or at least fire, and you can destroy practically anything when you utilize correctly. And the functionality functions like how the item bar in God of War 3 does. So it recharges instantly every time after you use it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
For me, my favorite magic is Hades Soul and Atreus' summons as a runner-up.
Oh, that's Atreus, though, not Kratos.
Well, it's still a magic attack that you use in battle.
Yeah. He didn't. I was kidding. It's fine. Anybody else? Going once?
Wait, one question. Fuck, like the special moves you do in God of War, those count as magic too, like the like in God of War 2018, the like the Spartan Rage, or when you use the blade, the Blade of Olympus in God of War 3. Those account too, or we don't count like specifically magic?
Yeah, just magic. Those are like super modes. Which
Okay,
I'm glad you mentioned that actually. Though I guess we can talk about that. If you guys want to.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. So which one's your favorite out of the games though? The super modes you get into.
Which is the one where he like when he activates it, he turns on fire? Is that the one from 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Rage of Titans.
Rage of Titans, and I also like the one from 2018 because there's a move where he just picks up a fucking rock out of the ground and throws it.
Yep.
It's so funny, dude. I swear to
Takes
God.
a piece of the earth and throws it at people.
I'm gonna be quite frank though. The Rage of Spartan in 2018 is actually kind of shit because you do like really bad damage for starters. It's only good for as like a shield. So you do shit damage, and on top of that though, if you get hit though, you lose meter rather than being invincible like in other games. So it's more of a liability than an asset.
I think they just
And,
posted that back in there for obviously fan service. They probably weren't thinking about how well tailored the move was compared to older games, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, because like look at, let's say, God of War 1 now. The Rage of Gods is really powerful though, but you cannot turn it off. So once you activate it, it's GG's until you can fill it back up again. You cannot turn it off. Which thankfully they fixed in the other games, because you could turn it off at will, like in 2, but it needs to be maxed out to use it again. But in God of War 3, you can use it at any given point though, but the damage is pretty moderate. So it's more like a super armor type thing, but you'd be okay with it. So functionality wise, God of War 2018 is honestly the worst one.
I just like throwing rocks at people.
Would you prefer if he had like a weapon, like what he uses these his weapons in Spartan Rage and God of War 2018? Because he didn't use any weapons at all.
Yes, because now logically though, he will be doing more damage with his weapons than with his fists though, despite how cool seeing him using his hands finally in outside of combat.
You know, a game that actually did this really well, MGR Ripper Mode. It's like, why can't it be a little bit like that, where it's like, if you're getting swarmed with enemies, at least you can get like a damage buff and do something with it. But I don't know what they were thinking with that one. Like I said, aesthetic wise, I like it because you can throw shit. I'm a simple man, but that's about it. Like definitely the older games in terms of God of War 2, I love how that looked and how that played.
I actually like the design for Rage of the Gods. Like Kratos kind of like has this like Spartan armor that's made out of lighting, and his like moveset changes. Like like the animations for like the standard attacks changed. Well, yeah, you cannot turn it off, but I just think like when you're like facing off against,
I do agree with that though. For those reasons though, I do love it.
Yeah, like when you're facing up with a bunch of enemies, like not only do you look really cool, but you do like more damage and whatnot. But as in terms of design, Rage of the Gods is probably the best power up form for Kratos.
All right, anybody else?
Nope.
All right, Renegade, my man. Read off number 6.
All right, so some God of War fans claim that Kratos is a shallow character throughout most of the series due to his rage/bloodlust. How do you feel about this sentiment? Now, I know I heard this before when people say, oh, well, Kratos is dumb, he killed his family, he's not a good character, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like the people who say this stuff have not played the games in depth or paid attention to the story, because if you really like look into it, Kratos is heavily flawed, and that brings like that sort of nuance to his character. Like he knows he made these mistakes, and he knows that he let the consumption of power get the better of him when he finally got saved. So he's trying to do the right thing, but he ends up killing his family. And I think that was very interesting because he was haunted by that for years. And then other characters also bring out his humanity, like Pandora and all the other characters he ran into, like Ascension and all that stuff. So I think people just tend to overlook that, and they just look straight at God of War 2 and it's like, oh, he's angry, that's it.
Honestly though, like the people that say that are honestly pretty fucking stupid. They don't pay attention to the story, nor they actually played all the games. I can almost guarantee you, like, these people did not play God of War, Chains of Olympus, or Ghost of Sparta. Those 2 games brings out Kratos' character to the highest T. Like, everybody is praising God of War 2018 for the things they did, though. The other games already did it way before God of War 2018. The difference is the structure is flipped. Kratos is a lot more calmer here, and showing those characteristics versus in the other games. When those set pieces happen, though, you see those moments of Kratos being, calmed and, I guess you could say, normal for once. Yeah. Look at God of War 1. His regret and sorrow for what happened to his family. God of War not 2018. Sorry, God of War Chains of Olympus. This is gonna be a spoiler alert for people who hasn't played it though. I apologize though, but I gotta make this point. He was forced to forsaken his daughter again because the main villain, Persephone, Hades' wife, was going to literally destroy all existence, and she set up Kratos to make the ultimate sacrifice, which sucked. But if you want the full context, you got to play the game. He literally gave up being with his daughter for all eternity to save not only her existence but everybody else's. So because of that, though, he cannot see his daughter again for all eternity. And God of War goes to Sparta, his reunion with his brother. No, he thought his brother was dead though, but he went to tooth and nail to save him and try to bring him back from the domain of death, which is Thanatos. Unfortunately, he died, and Kratos lamented the same line from, I think it was God of War 1, by the gods of Olympus or whatever. What have I become? I'm sure you guys remember that line. And at that moment, that's when God of War 2 happened. His resentment towards the gods on because what happened in previous games or the prequels, So you have so many examples of Kratos being human, or at least have a lot of humanity, and people choose to ignore it just because, reasons. It's really, really sickening.
Yeah. Also, going with that, also in like Ghost of Sparta, there's also like spoilery. That part where he actually like finds out his mother is still alive, and he's like, oh god, like you see Kratos actually like caring for someone, and then like for like stuff that happens in the story, her mother turns into a monster, and
you had to kill her.
Yeah, and at that moment, Kratos, like, you can tell like he's actually like emotionally hurt, because not only much like his brother, he didn't know his mother was still alive and she was sick, and she basically like died right there, and she told him like her last words, and you can tell Kratos really took it like too hard. He was actually pretty hurt by it. He actually like displayed like I'm gonna say like sympathy and sadness and stuff like that. But yeah, same thing went for, like, as you said, with Penelope, when he was forced to literally push, like, you were forced to push her away, and and you can see like Kratos, like, he was actually like struggling because he had to forsake her, and now she hates him, and he knows that. And yeah, Kratos was never like he was never just like, oh, I'm just angry, I'm an angry man, I gotta kill stuff. He actually did had some character through the games, Pandora, even the final battle in God of War 1, where you have to like give up your own HP to like keep your family safe from the evil Kratos clones that Ares kind of like spawned on you as a way to trying to like fuck him up mentally.
Also, God of War 2, when he killed Athena, like, he literally, Athena's like was his like only friend. Like, even though he treated her like shit sometimes, especially in God of War 2, right? He literally felt great remorse stabbing her with the Blade of Olympus, because, well, to be fair, she jumped in front of him. But you can tell like he did not want to do it. That was not his target.
Yeah. Also, that one part in God of War 2 where when he kills his like comrade without even realizing it.
Did anyone mention the fact that when Kratos had hope in God of War 3, he literally stabbed himself to give other people hope?
Yeah, so that shows he's not really shallow.
Yeah, I had to ask, because that was like, bro, like, if Kratos was a shallow character, he would be like, fuck everyone, I'm just gonna let Greece flood and that's it. I'm not gonna give people hope back. I'm not gonna do all this.
Exactly, because Athena was wanting that power back. You can tell she her corruption was in play at the end of the cutscene. Kratos was like, nah, chief, I'm going to do this.
Yep.
Also, crap, I just actually had another train of thought. This is also the blame for the marketing of God of War 2018. Like, I love Corey, but him and his marketing team play a huge part of this whole perception of Kratos in 2018 versus the old games. And also another person I want to keep in mind, Greg Miller. This is an old ass review of the HD collection for the PSP games, and he literally straight up said Kratos sucks and he's one dimensional. For the man who reviewed the PSP games, the ones with the most emotional stories, that's quite funny that this man did not pay attention to the stories.
I knew it had to be Greg Miller of all people saying this.
Well, he's a game journalist, so what do you expect?
I mean, not all game journals are as stupid as him. Like, there are some people that probably did pay attention to God of War, but fucking Jesus Christ, like, again,
You know the stigma I'm talking about.
yeah, again, it's like, how did you not pay attention to some of the most emotionally moving stories, and then you just play? That's another thing people tend to do as well. Like, I did like 2018 for what it was. I don't think it's a masterpiece or anything because of the combat and some of the stuff they need to adjust for Ragnarok, but again, I don't like when people just simply say Kratos did not become a deep character until that game. I don't know why that always comes up as well. It's like, have you played the original series? Go back and play that, please, for the love of God. But that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Like, hell, you can watch the cutscenes on YouTube for all we know, you know? So just do it. Like, this misconception is just really mind-boggling.
Yeah, I don't get it.
All right, so anybody else got any other opinion statements on this question?
Nah.
No?
No,
Nope.
because if I say what I gotta say, it'll just be regurgitating what y'all just said.
True. All right, number 7. Who's to read that one off? Any,
Yes, I'll
mini,
read it.
money. Go ahead.
Number 8. God of War is known for Mortal
No,
Kombat
number 7.
style
No,
fatalities.
7.
Oh, we're 7?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm stupid.
That's
How do you feel about the entire story within the God of War saga?
Ooh.
No, now I think about it, we kind of sort of addressed it in the last question though, but as a whole, it makes like a perfect masterpiece type movie. Like everything lines up so well with each other that it's like you have to play them all to experience God of War to its fullest.
It's like the perfect revenge story in a way.
It's the perfect Greek tragedy.
Yeah, it's
Greek
a
tragedy.
Norse tragedy.
It's a tragedy as well as this revenge story like put together, and it goes really well. As we said with like the PSP games, the console games, they're like go off of each other really, really well.
I really like the corruption stuff as well with the gods, like how that all happened. I understand that for them to tell it in 3, it had to be stretched, but it made perfect sense in the end with the gods getting, corrupted by Pandora's box and then becoming assholes. And then I'm wondering, like, are they gonna do the same thing? Well, they're kind of already doing it with Norse mythology, with Odin and everything, and his character and the stuff we read in like the notes and.
Well, Odin's just an asshole in general. There's no corruption there.
Yeah, but it's still like crazy some of the stuff he's doing. Like I guess it's just more backstory that I want to see added into the later games. So I really just enjoy the whole corruption aspect if they do it with the Norse mythology.
I don't know. God of War 3 needed something to make the story even better. You want to know what should add it?
What is that, sir?
When Kratos was beating the crap out of Zeus, he should have had flashbacks towards his family, and then we believe the final punch towards Zeus, he lets go and tells him to walk away. That's a Last of Us 2 reference. I'm just fucking around, but the God of War series has a pretty good story. I would say people overblow 2018 a little bit too much. It's a good story, but not a great story.
It's all right, honestly though. Like some of the characters there, like mainly Freya, I feel like she's like honestly kind of a hypocrite. She tells Kratos to tell Atreus that you're a god, but she doesn't tell them that they're a god. That she's a god. So like on top of that though, she didn't spill the beans about Baldur being her son and whatnot, right? I feel like that'd be important information to know that at least you really have some relation to these people, because it makes no sense for some random witch to be stuck here in the I forgot what's it called again. The realm for the humans. I forgot what it's called. It's slipped my mind right now.
Midgard.
Yeah, Midgard. It makes no sense for her to be in Midgard, stuck there, just because Odin didn't like her. There's some more truth to it though, but
I feel like 2018 was like the first act to like a larger story.
Well, we'll find out the rest when God of War Ragnarok rolls around. But I mean, so far, for the most part, I like it. Granted, some of Kratos is like some of the stuff he does and the deepness behind it. It does take a lot of games to figure this stuff out. Like if you play the side games and everything. So one thing I didn't get when I first played God of War 3 is the whole Hades' wife thing. Yeah, that was kind of confusing to me. Like, how is he so salty over this man? And then I found out what he did.
You had to play those games.
Yeah, you had to play those games to find out. So you might have to do a little bit of meta universe soul searching there. But once you do, I think you'll really enjoy it. So I really do like the story. Again, Kratos being angry, killing gods. That's basically the meat and potatoes of God of War.
I remember beating 2, then jumping right into 3. When you get to like Hades, you hear shit about like Kratos' mom, where that was barely talked about in the first 2 games. Then you hear his brother. It was like, oh shit, Kratos has a brother? I didn't know that. Yeah, it's play the PSP games, I guess.
I kind of wish they did more potential with his brother. I don't even remember his name, dude. Like, that shit is lost.
Demos.
Yeah, Demos. Like, I was like, that shit was lost to me for a second. Drain Demos. Should have did a little bit more with him, but it's whatever.
I wish he was still alive though, but because the end of Ghost of Sparta would have been the ultimate co-op game if he was still alive.
It would have, yeah.
I think that was mentioned in chat too, how epic a God of War game would be if you could play with 2 people.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys.
Go ahead.
Sure.
In God of War 3, I mean, this could be just him just referencing God of War 3, but in God of War 3, after you beat Poseidon, he said one line, no matter how many gods fall, there'll always be another one to stand against you. Was that supposed to like a reference of the gods going to face more in God of War 3 or the series as a whole?
Well, I mean, in context with 3 though, he was right because he was the first one to die, and then there's other guys later down the line, so it would be a reference to 3.
Okay, I always felt like it was a combination of both.
Yeah, I'm just gonna straight up say it. While I did enjoy God of War 2018, I think the way people portray it and the way that the story is trying to be told, I see it as something similar to Oscar bait. Yeah, and people were like, "Oh, the story's flawless." Like, "Oh, look at that!" It's like in the interviews, "Oh, this is a real script. This is none of that video game stuff. This is a real movie script." I'm like, "Come on, dude. This is Oscar bait shit. Like, you're not gonna convince me this is the best story ever." One of the biggest issues I had with the story in 2018 was like the whole little section where boy just becomes an asshole just to have like a little like character arc between Kratos and boy.
I kind of think that made sense though, given who he is. You kind of got to give him credit there. Like, it's not like they told that one out of the blue. But I'll be honest, I wasn't really a fan of that part because at first I didn't know who he was until the end, and I'm like, I don't get it. Why is Atreus all of a sudden being like this? Then I'm like, oh, okay, he's Loki, so now I understand. But yeah, so 2018, I mean, I like the characters and everything and all the shit that was going on, but there are definitely some characters in there that I really didn't care for, like Baldur's conclusion. I thought that was yeah, you're trying to do this whole thing where you're not trying to kill him, then you gotta. I was like, oh my god, dude. And then Freya's mad now, so she's gonna come back and clap us.
I mean, honestly though, it's kind of her fault and anything.
It really was her fault, but still, it was like such a goddamn roller coaster at the end. I was just all over the place. So it's some good points, it's some low points, but overall, I would say I did enjoy the game for what it was. Just my main issue with that is the combat, and I'm like, that's a whole nother topic entirely.
I agree on that.
Snow.
I kind of noticed something after you killed Baldur in God of War 2018. I think him, Kratos, and Zeus are the same line after Zeus killed Kratos at the beginning of God of War 2. The cycle ends here.
The cycle ends here, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, like father, like son.
What they don't realize is that because they did that, they made a whole nother cycle. So good job.
Yep.
Now Odin is gonna be even a bigger asshole.
Or Thor, because the ending.
I love that ending so much. I don't know, it's great. I just wish you could fight him, but I feel like, save that juice for the sequel.
Imagine
But
if he was
still,
the secret boss.
Got a sequel bait.
a secret boss. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is sequel bait for sure.
But
But
let's be honest, sir. Though, like that's probably the best way to end off though, showing your next potential threat.
I just want to take his
Right.
hammer and bash his face in with it. That's all I want. But
I don't know how Thor's hammer works in the Greek mythology versus like, let me say, the comics. Is it true like in Greek mythology only he can hold a hammer? I mean Norse mythology. My bad. I said Greek mythology.
Okay, you have to be worthy to be wield a hammer though, and since Thor is worthy, he can wield a hammer. So, in theory, Kratos can or could hold the hammer though if he was deemed worthy of it.
Yeah.
But his axe already works the same as with Thor's hammer.
I mean, yeah, the thing is though, like there's an enchantment on Thor's hammer to prevent people just randomly picking it up. It was made by the same people though, but the functionality is different from one region or another. As far as one controls ice, the other one controls thunder, and there's an enchantment on it to prevent people willy-nilly picking it up.
Yeah. I mean, the story in 2018, I thought it was alright. Like it was nothing like as much as people hyped it up. I just think it was alright. Some of the characters just make no sense, as Yo said. The only thing that bothered me was like the final battle against Baldur was just recycled from like the beginning. And I'm like, oh, that's how you're gonna end your game.
yeah, I wasn't too big of a fan of that, to be honest. But I kind of knew that he was gonna come back after he got his neck snapped the first time. So I'm like, oh well, fuck.
Yeah, when people say this is the best God of War game, I got a huge exit out because honestly though, it just felt too generic in a lot of areas. But on top of that though, I didn't like how the game ended because it felt like there should have been more to the game. Like it didn't feel like a proper conclusion. It felt like just another boss fight, and then you'll go up to your next chapter, the next arc in the story, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, that's it? Like it just ends abruptly, in my honest opinion.
It's a lot of questions that they pose, and it's just like Slasher said, a lot of it is sequel bait, especially the mural on the wall. I'm like, I know we definitely ain't finding that out until like either Ragnarok or the game after that. Like, there's no way. I'm like, oh,
Kinda sucks
Go ahead.
that the end of when you look back at 2018, they said there was no QTEs. There was only one QTE in the game, unless you want to count those parts where you just button mash, like pressing like square R1 or just hitting Boulder in the face or hitting an enemy in the face. But when at the end of the fight, there's only one QT, and then all you gotta do is press square a few times.
oh, you're talking
And
about
then
the one
Kratos-
where Kratos and Atreus are whooping his ass?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The hype is part in the fucking story.
it is hype. I'm not gonna lie, I'll put hype on that one. But yeah, I mean,
Anybody else?
no, I was just gonna say, like, most of the stories are awesome. Like, I don't see too much of a big issue with them outside of the ones we mentioned, of course, but outside of that, it's enjoyable. Like, I definitely think the strongest one, in my opinion, is 1 because of the mystery they set up with Kratos, and you don't know who he is, and everyone's like scared shitless of him. Like, oh, who's the ghost of Sparta? And everyone's scared as fuck. So I really enjoy that reveal at the end when you find out who he really is, and he's killed so many people in favor of Ares.
Yeah, one of the good things about God of War 1 is not only the mystery of why he's known as the Ghost of Sparta, but also like when you beat the game, like how you unlock like the secret videos that they go, oh, Kratos had a brother. Oh, what would happen? Is this gonna be the next story? Look at all these possibilities that could shroud like Kratos as a whole, as a character. Well, what's his full past? Maybe he has relatives. I kind of really like that. It's kind of added to it, kind of like, which they kind of did do because funny enough, the two secret movies that you got, like the concepts for his backstory, were actually used in Ghost of Sparta and Chains of Olympus. So in the end, it kind of did pay off, building up to that mystery.
Yeah, they pulled a RE. They basically recycled some stuff for the better.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm kind of confused about, I guess I could ask you guys this question is, there was one like mystery movie where he killed his mom and she was like a monster or something. Did they reuse that?
Ghost of Sparta.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
I was curious about that because I'm like, that's the one where it was like, it was super weird to me, and I was wondering if they ever touched on that, but now I know.
That's what me and Zeta were talking about in the last question, showing Kratos that definitely had humanity in him, and that was one of the things Zeta mentioned, him killing his mom.
Probably, yeah, I muted for a bit, so I probably missed that one, but yeah, I'm glad to know that one. It was great. It's once again one of those things where it's like they have these ideas, they don't necessarily make it into the games that they are creating, and at the same time they go back, recycle them, and then turn them into something new. So I like when studios do that. It means that what they created for a secret initially that got cut might come back later on in the timeline, and that's cool. So are we done with question number 7?
Yes.
There's one last thing I want to add. I think we talked about this before in the group. The one thing in God of War's 2018 story, the one thing I didn't like when you're in Helheim and we already know that Christopher Judge is the new Kratos, but I do not like they dubbed his lines from God of War 3 TC cartons when they went back to flashbacks from God of War 3 when he's fighting Zeus. It just does not fit his character for some reason. I don't know. I like the new voice actor. It just doesn't fit with those lines in particular for him.
Yeah, okay. Like, because sorry, though, like TC was the original voice actor for that game, so for them to redub it though, it feels off. Considering the delivery online wasn't as let's say potent, because he's spoken in a lot of softer tone by comparison.
Did they give like an excuse or a reason why they replaced him?
Yeah, because they wanted something along the lines of like a more mature or a more older Kratos and something like that. But like I feel like that idea is bullshit because a voice actor would be talented enough to change the pitch of their tone if they wanted to. Matter of fact, T.C. Carson has done it multiple times. He lowered his pitch of his voice when talking to certain people, when he's being softer. But once he gets riled up or just being normal again, he will, amplify his voice again. So like for them to replace him though, I think it's like no offense to freaking Christopher Judge though. Like I love this man's voice. He's freaking DM for freaking the Def Jam games. Like this man has a voice, but he's just I don't think he's like perfect as Kratos, especially what they were going for. This is my opinion on it though.
Yeah, I don't buy it when he gets mad, and I feel like as Kratos, you definitely need both like the mature side and the one where it's like, holy shit, this guy is gonna tear my head off if he raises his voice. I'm scared now. And Judge is good at being like mature, but he's not good at being angry. And there are times in the story where even though Kratos is chilled out, he gets mad. And I don't think that's conveyed well at all.
Yeah, especially like those scenes where like when he's supposed to like yell and whatnot or actually be angry, because he sounds like soft angry, like somebody who's like trying to be angry but at the same time is being soft about it.
I said this in the chat when I started playing God of War 2018 again. That line where he says, "What are you doing? Only fire when I tell you to fire." It sounds so weird and forced. Like, you guys ever thought that when you first heard that line?
I mean, that's just in general when he gets angry. Like it doesn't feel like
it doesn't feel natural in my opinion.
That's my only issue with like the new voice is that he's soft angry, like he's like you're starting to be angry, but he was probably told, oh, your character is soft spoken, but you gotta be angry, and he kind of like tried to like mix both, and it just sounds really weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, if you really like the interactions between him and Atreus, I think that's the main thing where he really excels at. That's all that stuff is great, but in terms of the classic Kratos, Rage, all that stuff, you're probably not gonna get it with that game. And it's like Torres said, it sounds so weird when they redub the God of War 3 stuff.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion on that done.
Are you finished with 7?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
one last thing. This will be it. This will be it.
God damn it.
It'll be quick. It'll be super quick. Do you think they should age up Atreus and Ragnarok?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, they should.
Make him like a teen or some shit.
Okay, that's
Make
it.
it, make him more fit for combat. You know, instead of being a scrawny little kid.
Yeah, because 4 years have passed.
Shit, really?
Yeah, because
Almost 4 years. Yeah, we got a couple
Fimbulwinter.
months.
Fimbulwinter.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot it started like snowing and shit, and I'm like, that has to be setting up for Ragnarok like super early.
As soon
Yeah,
as
that's what Ragnarok
Fimbulwinter
basically
ends,
is.
when Fimbulwinter ends, that's when Ragnarok happens.
Oh, okay.
So 4 years of snow.
So he
All right.
needs to be older, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eli, you know, since you're talking, can you read off number 8?
Okay. Number 8. God of War is known for Mortal Kombat style fatalities on enemies. What is the most brutal moment / death? Series. Describe why.
I think everyone's gonna mostly say Poseidon.
Yeah.
That's honestly a hard one though. I can't front though.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Also-
of brutalities in the game.
Don't forget Hermes, the way he fucking yells as soon as he cut his legs off.
Yeah, Kratos had the most nonchalant look in his face while looking at his legs, like, nice boots, man. No mind if I take them?
Give me them drumsticks.
His drumstick legs, chicken low tier god legs.
Yo, sir, that had to have been really painful because he just cut, man. Like, it's not a clean cut because you see the bone sticking out. So, damn.
I was just rewatching Hermes' death scene, and the way he crawls away after his first leg gets cut off, fucking brutal.
I think the death that people just go back to the most though is definitely either Poseidon or Helios. Cause that's fucking crazy. He just literally like you can see the tendons coming off his neck as he rips off his head. It's insane.
That one right there is pretty funny. He looks like, man, my death will not help you. He's Kratos like, bet, just rip his head off and use it like a flashlight.
Wasn't Kratos gonna like let him go or something like that, or I forgot how it went.
No, it was Hercules that he was going to let go. Because for one, he did not want to fight Hercules. He made it abundantly clear in dialogue, like, this is not between you and me. Like, stay out of this, man. Like, I don't want you to be involved in this.
Yeah.
But also, fun fact, God of War 3, the gods are like represented by the 7 deadly sins. And in case of Hercules, it was jealousy, so which is why he started fighting him.
Oh.
So like when Hercules rolled up, he Kratos told him to like don't get involved. But he did anyway, and I got him killed. So that's like the one of 2 gods that Kratos did not want to fight, and obviously the other one was Aphrodite.
Oh, he wanted to fight her in a different way.
Yeah, that was definitely war that she won.
What about Kronos? Because he sliced Kronos open
Kronos was
because
fun.
his fucking guts.
Oh,
in it.
you know what? That scene actually
yeah.
really bothered me. You know why? Because after you get Kratos to the little diamond thing to punch into his face, the guts are not there anymore. He suddenly just instantly healed up.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but what
Oh,
about
like-
when you like pull his nail and whatnot? That's pretty gross.
Yeah, I can't front though. Kratos was definitely part of the most gory part about the game. You
Yeah.
gut him open, quite literally, punch a crystal into his chin, and then stab his head with a blade of Olympus. Like that man got fucked 5 ways from Sunday.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about the Titan, and then, well, I just remember that they said it was gonna be more in that game, but it's really just one in terms of fighting it. But
There was 3 that you fight, quote unquote. Obviously, one of them was Gaia, but no, hers was like a stage boss fight, if anything. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can fight Zeus and her.
inside of her,
And there was the lava dude that is a quick time event. You blow his ass up with the Blade of Olympus, and then there's Kronos, who was the actual boss fight.
yeah, I meant like multi-stage. You're actually gonna be on top of them, fighting them all the time. But I mean, I'll take what I can get there because I did like Kronos' death a lot. And I just now remember, like, the nail ripping thing. Holy shit, this is just super gruesome. I see the boss deaths are even more gruesome. That I can't really pinpoint any enemy deaths that made me go, "This is very disgusting." It's just normal, like, oh, Kratos gussed this guy or whatever. Or I do like how he killed the Minotaur, where it's like he just jumps on him, stabs him in the head, and it's all done.
Actually, there's actually one I do like from 2018, and it's probably the only gory one that stands out the most is the wolves, the lycans you fight.
Oh yeah.
He literally rips their lower jaw and all the way down to their dick, man. That made me cringe when I first saw that.
I forgot about the Wolverine death. I was like, oh, this is like so awesome. But yeah, that's the one that reminded me. This game is people that are like running around like Groot in trees and all that shit. And I'm like, where's the like fleshy enemies? And that was the one right there, the wolf.
Yeah, there was like barely any blood and gore in 2018, which makes me sad because that's also another identity loss. But we'll get to that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, they toned it down way too much, but we're mature now.
I mean, Kratos is still a violent fellow, so I don't even get that logic.
But let's see. I don't know what's my favorite one on the lower enemies though. Cause I did like cutting off the Gorgon's heads off in 3. Like he stabs them repeatedly and it pulls them towards him. Like that man ain't playing around. He wants you dead.
I guess if I had a runner-up, it would be the Fat Gorgon, because I just like how slow that death is before he actually like cuts off their head.
And Fat Gorgon, you mean the lesser enemy in 3, or you talking about the boss in 2?
The lesser enemy in 3, where he like slowly stabs them in the tail with the swords, and then he stabs them in the neck, and their head comes off.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to too.
Yeah,
like, that one right there is just that was pretty cool, but pretty unnecessary.
It is.
What
but
do you guys think of? Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. You go.
Oh no, I was gonna say it is, but at the same time, it is God of War, so a lot of fatality style deaths, even in Mortal Kombat, they get excessive after a while, which is cool.
Might as well stab her in the boobs at her rate, cause shit.
I mean, you kind of can do that as a grab to I forget which enemy it was. I think it was actually the Screamer chicks that you encounter. It's not a death, but you can do that.
Oh, the Sirens, they're a recurring enemy.
Yeah,
I think they're the most annoying in the first game.
What about the Cyclops from God of War 3? Like how like when you rip their eye out, like the blood comes out, and in 3, like you can see Kratos getting covered in blood.
And I remember during promotional material for 3, everybody got hyped up for that scene because never in God of War up to that point you see blood squishing out of the Cyclops' eye.
Yeah, and that was actually pretty. They used that because of how gruesome it was. Because I think it looks really cool. Like tears out the eye and then like blood like bursts out and then like it's like covering Kratos like the entire body and he's like dripping blood.
At that point, was God of War 3 the first one where it's like stuff would splash on Kratos and you could see it?
Yeah.
It was God of War 3 and then Ghost of Sparta because that came out the same year as 3.
Okay. Because I was curious about that.
If you beat God of War 3, like you get the platinum, you'll get a website for www, the Spartan Stand Tall, and they will like tease like a new project, and it was actually Ghost of Sparta the entire time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, literally the name of the platinum is www, the Spartan Stand Tall.
Oh, I know, but I didn't know that's a legit website. I thought it was just something else.
No, when you went there, you'll just like get like a little cutscene of like you'll just hear like the ocean because that game takes place in Atlantis. You just hear the ocean and people were like, "Oh my god, is this God of War 4? Is this gonna tell what happened?" Because there was a lot of ocean when Kratos died, so they were like, "That's what's gonna happen next."
That's a good assumption.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else on question 8?
Nope. Got mine out.
All right. Okay, rev number 9. God of War is known for having mini games called Challenge of the Gods. Well, the challenges, but the names are different in every game.
Yeah.
If you play those modes, what are your thoughts on them? All right, I'm gonna tell you straight up. God of War 1 sucks ass with the Challenge of the Gods. They're freaking horrible, especially the last 2 stages. The centaurs were a pain in the ass to get off the platform. Which, thank God, there's an AOE move you can abuse to get them off. But Jesus Christ, that game mode sucks so much ass.
I forget the name of the move, but I know it's like L1 and circle in the air and on the ground.
It's X.
Oh yeah. In what you need to do also is the Helios roll or whatever they call that, because that can kind of help you, but at the same time that place was garbage. But you can continue on with the other ones.
In God of War 2, those were called Challenge of the Titans, which those weren't as hard as I remember them being when I actually went for my platinum. Because one night I was still up like, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was bored, trying to go to sleep, get ready for school, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna platinum God of War 2. So I got up and did the Challenge of the Titans and the whole night, and I went back to sleep. So it wasn't that hard compared to God of War 2 though, but I'm sorry, God of War 1, but it's still pretty challenging. But the easiest ones were definitely in God of War 3 and Ghost of Sparta, especially Ghost of Sparta. Those and Ghost of Sparta, like it was like piss easy. I complete all of them in a single shot. Versus in God of War, say 3, there's only one of them that I fucked up in. That's because you have Gorgons freezing you over and over from Cyclopses.
I think that shit glitched for me. Also, damn, no, the ground pound is L1 in circle. It is, because I did it recently. Yeah, I did it recently, yeah.
So what was X then? Is that the launcher?
That's the launcher when you do the roll with the left analog stick.
Okay.
I actually think that they're alright. Some of the challenges can get pretty annoying, and my only the only reason why I remember like those challenges really well was because for some reason, and I'm not even joking, every single challenge mode that I did for up to Chains of Olympus, something will break. Like either the enemy will get stuck somewhere, or they'll get stuck off camera, or they just wouldn't spawn. Like that happened to me for every game up to Chains of Olympus.
Dude,
that's it.
I glitched Fear Kratos. It was great. I don't know how, but somehow he got shot in the air and the game pretended like I kept hitting him and he went off cam and he never died. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I had enemies get like stuck, and then like their like pain sound would just get like go on loop really, really fast. And that happened to me for like different types of glitches happened to me all through the series. And
it was one more in God of War 1 where it wasn't the last one, but it was like next to it. It's one where you have to fight an entire gauntlet of enemies, and the only way to kill them is to let the Gorgons freeze them and turn them into stone. And that's the only way to do it. So if you're in the air while Kratos is attacking these enemies, you'll get stoned. And each and every single time, I think it was like 2 Cyclopses as well, if they manage to hit you while stoned, you'll just die automatically. And that was like so trash. I did not like that part. I had to order some DoorDash. Kratos
yeah, I just got back. My bad.
Shut up, Eli.
Or Hermes Dash. Also, Brian, I actually looked at the moveset as well. The one I was referring to was Apollo's offense, which you actually slam the enemy into the ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, there's like some type of AoE where you can do a charge move, and people recommend doing this because it could possibly knock the satyr off the platform. Sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's not, but I did do it a lot on live stream and I managed to beat it, so it is doable. Other than that, I'm trying to think of other shit challenges. Probably the 1 and 2 where you have to protect that guy, and if the enemies get close or if he's out of the circle, his health will drain to shit.
You know, I actually got a Titan rank on that mission, and that one sucks so much.
It does, because I mean the slow-mo thing will help you, but the circles disappear so fast, and when there's like 2 Cyclops like stomping about, you just can't. You gotta like be super smart, otherwise you're dead.
Didn't 2018 also had like a challenge mode? Because I remember at that point I didn't.
Yes and no. They're based into the realms of Musfan or whatever, the fire and the one with the gases, right?
Yeah.
The fire one does have like a tower type thing where you constantly go up and you do these weird challenges. And the other one is like a maze, like RNG type maze, where you could fight a Valkyrie there also. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, it's there, but not in the same vein as the other games. If
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I think that's like even if you want to consider it a challenge mode, I think that's kind of like the weakest one because everything is just really, really weird.
Actually, I could think of something worse. The Trials of Archimedes in Ascension.
I didn't do those.
Isn't that like
You
notorious?
have to do those because it's part of the story.
Oh,
Oh, you do?
Yes. It's like
Don't you? Oh, dude, I've only played Ascension once.
yes,
Fuck.
it's required for the story, and I can't remember like describe the location though, but you deal with like things from electric gorgons or whatever. Like those, the first wave is the worst because you take so much damage and you get like no health in return pre-patch, right? Post-patch, you get slither of health and one magic bar back.
I just
It was awful. Like I literally cursed out the developers for making the Trials of Archimedes.
Jeez.
oh
I don't
man.
blame you though.
Maybe
I've
there's
never-
a reason. There's a reason I don't remember them, and I think that's a good thing.
Because literally, like I went full on Kratos mode. I've never been so mad at a challenge like that since God of War 1, and I think the trials are worse in some regards. Like thankfully they get easier though, but it's still annoying nonetheless. I hated those things.
Yeah, I remember that being infamous because I remember so many people were complaining about that. Like, why are these electric gorgons fucking our ass right now? And
I think the developers trying to justify saying like, no, it's perfectly balanced and whatnot. I'm like, no, the fuck it's not.
no,
Just because you could do it doesn't mean it's balanced.
no, sir, don't do it to him. I'll get there though. I do have the game. I just double check PSN, so I'll download that and see how it is. But I mean, the ones for God of War 2018, they were, well, the ones you want to consider challenges. They were all right. It was a few of them that were annoying. Like, I think it was one where you had to essentially not take any damage. I think those are the hardest ones because fucking Atreus never covers my back when I really need him. And then I end up getting hit or shot by something. And then I think it was the worst when those two dark elves came out. You had to no damage them. I thought that was trash.
Yeah, I still think 2018 had like it's like the weakest type of like challenge mode, if you can even call it that.
You only get loot for doing all that stuff, so I guess there is incentive and obviously trophies and all that stuff, but in terms of what you get for all the other ones, like sometimes you get, do you actually get like awards for beating the challenges outside of trophies?
Yes, you do. Okay, for the one off the top of my head for God of War 2, you unlocked a training mode, and that's handy for another trophy. Ironically, is getting Cyclops eyes. So you gotta get 20 total.
Yeah.
And that's like almost impossible to do on campaign mode, so it's kind of required to do it.
Oh, okay.
And that thing. But for the first game, I think you unlock some type of museum or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're talking about the treasures. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, in God of War 3, I think you unlock more challenges. I forgot what the second tier challenges is called though, but in that one you actually can fight Kratos himself, like a Shadow Kratos.
Yeah.
And he is hard. I can't beat him. He's so hard.
Fear Kratos.
So yeah, like there you do get self incentive. Oh, also random fun fact: Ghost of Sparta, you play as Zeus by completing challenges.
All right, so I'm looking at the next question. Can we skip this one because we kind of already answered how we feel about God of War 2018, unless you want to go into detail about it.
I feel like it should be at least like a summary. That way it can be condensed into the question rather than us, sporadically talking about it in other questions, So I think it'd be a good time to do it.
Okay, I'm going to give my quick thoughts then. So I think the game has bright spots. I think if they do things like giving Kratos a jump button in later sequels and fixing the FOV, that would be great. I did like it for what it was, but I do feel like there are issues that are in the game, especially with the lack of boss variety and everything else. They really need to iron that out because that was really boring, fighting 9 trolls over and over again, being reskinned time and time again. I think the strongest thing in the game is Kratos and Atreus. The weakest thing in the game is all the stuff I mentioned. So they need to work on that for the sequel, and that's how I feel about it. I think it's a strong like 7 or 8. It's up there, but definitely needs improvement.
Yeah, I definitely agree. No, it's a fun game, still a good game though, but it's just I cannot say this is God of War. It feels like people say this game took a risk by becoming what it is though, which I'm gonna strongly disagree. Because it's like your average open world game with a bunch of collectibles, you go around, fast travel, and all that shit. Like this game has been done already in the style of, like, say, Red Dead for like Rockstar or Sony other IPs like Horizon Zero Dawn. Like it's the same type of formula, it's just done in God of War. And well, for what it is though, it was done well enough. So I will say no, it was a good game on its own, right? But I can't say there was a risk though, because we've seen this formula done already.
Yeah.
Yeah, they turned what it was basically a fixed camera, simple hack and slash game into a I don't want to call it like a Sony game. You know what the connotations come with a Sony game. I think the game is fine. It's a fine game. I don't think the story is as amazing as people make it out to be. I don't think it's like revolutionary. I just see it as another third-person action adventure game with RPG elements.
Yeah, that's true. They definitely tacked on those RPG elements, and I mean, it was okay for the most part. But again, it could be God of War without it. That's what I felt.
Yeah, you can basically like make an entire new game with this, and it'll still work.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Torres? Going once, going
I pretty much sum everything for 2018. I got nothing else to add.
Eli, DoorDash.
I think 2018 was pretty good overall.
Did you have any nitpicks about the game?
The combat took a while to get used to. Like as soon as you beat Boulder for the first time, you get into a combat section where you basically have to master everything at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Well, I think that is more prominent, especially if you play the older games before that, jumping into this one, because I'm like, fuck, I
jumping.
Yeah, there's no jumping in this one. All right. Let me rephrase that. So, diving into this one. There's no diving in this game either. God damn it. Fuck you.
Running into this game.
Running.
Yes, running into this game.
You can run, so there's a positive. But yeah, if you do that, then it's a little bit harder to deal with the combat, which, I mean, it's you get into it after a while, but still you just miss the old style and how it was done. But eventually I got a hang of it and I beat the game and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, speaking of which though, like they definitely got to incorporate jumping, because I know it may seem minor to some people though, but I disagree, because of the lack of jumping, you actually got a lot of dumbed down exploration set pieces and puzzles. Like there's plenty of times where Kratos could literally just jump up a cliff or double jump in the older games, right?
Yeah.
But he needs like to go around this little staircase or the hippity hop up here, or get a trace to throw down a chain. I'm like, this is not necessary. And like, I love Corey. Much respect to you, brother. You were about the series, but the fact that you say jumping doesn't tell stories is probably the most brain aneurysm thing I ever heard in my life.
I don't.
Also the fact that as you said, exploration is dumbed down. You can just sum it up to like, look for thing, hit thing with the axe, go get thing, open chest, go to corner, get collectible. It's
exactly.
Just really down.
I think
also like cliff hopping when you climb obstacles in the game, that's severely dumbed down compared to say the previous 3 games. 3, Ghost of Sparta, and Ascension. Kratos in that game is like super fast when it comes to climbing, because they greatly improved it since the original games, right? Prior.
Mhm.
So the fact that it is like very toned down and like slow, it feels very sluggish. Though again, that sounds minor though, but trust me, like the speed of the game would be greatly improved if they fix stuff like that.
I keep thinking to myself, like, I don't know why Corey would say all this stuff, and we already know that Kratos is like a superhuman demigod who can do all these crazy jumps and shit in the cutscenes itself, because we saw that with Baldur and
Exactly.
them jumping around, and I'm like, yo, this is hype, but I can't do that in gameplay, so why?
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. The fact that he said jumping doesn't tell stories, but yet you have characters that are literally jumping in the freaking narrative itself, That's right. That's a big L on his part, especially since this man loves Devil May Cry. A game where you can jump.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this is a cinematic, mature game. We can't have jumping around. That's too complex for our linear 30 FPS third-person action adventure game.
Only
Look,
in a cutscene.
If Last of Us 2, you can jump in that game. There's no reason why Kratos can't.
Yeah, and they sold that as a big new feature in The Last of Us 2.
Exactly.
It's like, here's your jump button. Even though I like that game, I'm like, you can jump in Horizon Zero Dawn, and they did not advertise it. What is going on? Why is it that games universally don't have these features and they have to advertise them? I don't get it. And I feel like Corey's also gonna do it with the second one. Like, finally, here it is. He has knees, boys. He could jump.
Yeah, plus that will also add an extra layer of combat, though, because the air combat in God of War is just outstanding, especially in 3 with all those extra weapons you get. Like, come on. You're missing gold mine to further innovate your combat. Like, what they have here is good, just they could do a lot to improve it. Like, for one, get rid of the cooldown moves, right? Like, fine, you could nerf them for all I care about, but let me use the moves any way I want to, like exactly how the other games did it.
Watch as the jump is just gonna be like some scripted finisher in the combat.
Okay, here's one thing, and I agree with that, but here's one thing. I don't get how they have this replacement for like air combos where you notice how if you do heavy attacks, the enemy will bounce. Like, it's clear you can do it, and you're trying to do it in some fashion, but it's not the same.
But even the old games have bouncing and juggling, so like there's no reason for us to not have it, have the air mobility either.
Oh, I almost forgot to say, I guess a better point would be when you're in the rage mode and Kratos actually like he does
dunks.
actually slam dunk and follows the enemy in air, and I'm like, I can't do this normally outside of rage of the gods or whatever's going on, so what the hell.
Yeah, like by some chance, if for some reason Corey hears this though, like, brother, please add in the jump mechanics. Trust me, it will go a long way.
But I guess we can move on to the question that leads into that, number 11. So
Alright,
I could read that off.
go ahead.
What is your personal checklist for all the things you want to see or all the things that should be fixed in God of War Ragnarok? So we just named off a lot of them in the last question. So I guess it boils down to the stuff we want in terms of like story progression or any gameplay features that might be obscure.
I could just make it simple then. One, improve the combat. Give us more options. Get rid of cooldown stuff, or at least have it as a magic system rather than moveset system like in 2018. Improve the story and narrative because, in my opinion, it wasn't that strong, especially compared to its predecessors. They could have done better. Give us more exploration, like Eli was going to say, and tone down the collectibles. I feel like some of those were not necessary. And I guess give us more weapons. Because only having 2, like a lot of games only had 2 weapons, but at least let us modify them to at least do something different, though. Because look at Ascension, you only have the Blades of Chaos, right? But the 4 elements change them into completely different weapons, like at least in style. So like at least give something similar to that, if anything,
Even in the original God of War, we had more weapons to deal with. So so that I think that's what I need.
I was honestly gonna say just let us explore Asgard, if that's possible at all.
Well, given the story narrative though, I think Asgard will be the last thing we'll be doing anytime soon.
I was gonna ask that. I was gonna ask that shit too because I'm like, I noticed when I was playing that game there were realms that were locked, and I'm like,
Yeah, because Odin either banned them or I'm pretty sure they've been destroyed, quote unquote.
yeah,
I'm assuming after Thor, like after you fight Thor, you have to go to Asgard for some reason. That's kind of what
I feel
remember.
like I feel like Asgard should be saved for 3, like call it God of War Asgard, and then take the big fight there. Because I feel like Asgard will be as big as like most of the realms anyway, like or bigger. Given this is Asgard here, so I feel like that should be a 3rd game setting rather than the sequel.
was that the
So,
only
just-
region? Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off, Eli, but was there any other region that was like locked outside of
I
Asgard?
think there were 3 or 4 realms that were locked.
Besides Jotunheim.
Yeah, but you unlock that one as well and 2 other ones, so it should be at least 2 or 3 realms left that are locked.
Okay.
Just going by memory.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to see some unlocked realms for the second game because it's like it's right here. We're implying it, but I know Asgard is gonna be a wait, but I'm talking about like just the other ones that we couldn't get into yet.
Oh, also, if Freya makes her return next game though, I hope she comes a boss fight because she wants to kill us now.
That would be pretty sick.
So and she's the lead Valkyrie, so like she needs to bring a lot to the table.
Stalking Valkyrie, stalking enemy, perhaps.
Not stalker per se, just a coup de grace type boss fight. Maybe she could be the final boss for something. Like she needs to be have a big part as the antagonist in Ragnarok.
I kind of
Should
want
be
her. Good.
a mid-game boss fight.
Yeah, I kind of want her to be like a little bit Virgil tier, like maybe you fight her once or twice or something like that, like just multiple times.
Yeah, but she'll get destroyed too easily though, so maybe not Virgil tier. That should be safe for Thor, if you ask me.
Thor needs to be the final boss.
Yeah, she's gonna get wrecked by Kratos, so I'm just thinking like maybe she retreats or something like that, or at least I think one cool way to do it would be to screw up the adventure somehow because she's gonna definitely try to do that in the story. I'm trying to also think of just a side question because I think this is a little bit more interesting. How do you guys feel about the release date coming out this year? You think it's gonna make it?
I think it's gonna get pushed back to next year.
Honestly, at worst, it would be 2022, which probably would be my preferred release date, in my opinion.
I'm just gonna say that it's probably gonna be either very late 2021, due to the fact that Sony is something for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
I'd rather have this game be next or current gen, because it's already out, current gen exclusive, rather than have a compromise. So personally, I think you should delay it. Like, if it gets delayed though, at worst, I want it to be at least 2022.
Dude, I keep thinking like fucking. I think people are also debating if it's gonna be like cross-gen or not. I have no idea. I don't know.
I kind of hope that it won't be because that SSD would be pretty good if you're gonna explore more realm.
Oh yeah, you're right about that because, dude, those realms took like literally 8 years to load. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, I understand it's old hardware, but
Yeah.
ooh, we were standing there for a minute when we got into a realm. I'm like, every time I did it, I'm like, I don't want to do it because it's gonna take 10 minutes.
That room was
Honestly,
cool,
the
though.
longest load time was like 3 minutes for me.
Oh no.
I think the longest was like 5 at best, and that's mostly going into the lava flame place.
You know those little fast travel doors that you go through?
Yeah.
Since the game actually loads while you're walking around through those areas, when the game finishes, the door shows up for you to like fast travel. I was stuck there for like 7 minutes at one point. Like I was just walking and walking and walking. The door didn't show up like till like almost 10 minutes.
I think if it's not gonna be on like cross-platform, then they don't even need those sections anymore, right?
I don't think they will have them if they use like the SSD. then it will be no problem at all.
Yeah, just scrap those unless I don't know, there's some story to tell down there or at least some collectibles to get, but I don't even think they were needed because it was like a level that was a mini loading screen, that was it.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll fix it.
Mm.
Well, something else that I kind of want fixed in Ragnarok will be, first of all, the camera. I do not like how close the camera is. I don't think that type of like over the shoulder camera
Yeah,
works
FOV is really bad.
on an action game. They try to like compensate with the arrows, and I'm like, nah, dude. If
I need
I
to
were
see.
to like, yeah, if I were to like if you want to keep this combat, okay, fine, do it. But if I were to compare it to something, it will be something along the lines of Thor from Marvel Avengers. If you want to make God of War Ragnarok better, but you want to stick to the same like, I guess, accessible combat, despite the fact that the original God of War was basically accessible Devil May Cry 3. Even David Jaffe admitted that it was basically a watered down version of DMC 3. Well, not 3, DMC 1. But yeah, you want to do that, just copy what the gameplay of Thor from the Avengers. That's the closest thing you can get to replicating that in a God of War game. Also, can we please have an option to skip those walking and talking sections? That's about it.
I think they need to fix the FOV, and yeah, skipping stuff would be nice because I think that was a problem definitely like in a different way with the cutscenes, because when the game came out, I don't think there was an option to skip cutscenes. Have you seen them before? They patched that in, I think. So
It's only for New Game Plus.
Yeah, New Game Plus. Okay. And even then, they didn't have New Game Plus. I was like, hold on, as a God of War fan, New Game Plus is mandatory, my guy.
That's another problem. Content. The game like content actually beat the first time.
Yeah, it did. Like, if you didn't beat the Valkyries before getting the ending, you could just go back and fight the Valkyries. Other than that, I don't know what else to do.
I guess they were like, well, it's already like an open world RPG. That's like 50 hours, so here you go. I guess that was their notion, but yeah.
I mean, after I beat the game, though, which it took me only a week to play the platinum, I hard dropped it because there's literally nothing else I can or want to do. Like, I don't want to start a new game from scratch because it's already pain in the ass as it is.
It's pretty funny because even like newer JRPGs and RPGs in general have a New Game Plus. Something like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a New Game Plus. Final Fantasy 15 had a New Game Plus. Even Kingdom Hearts 3 has a New Game Plus.
Cyberpunk doesn't even have a New Game Plus yet.
Yeah.
Well, Cyberpunk didn't have QA or have the stuff finished anyway, so that's nothing.
I mean, I'm not the point here. Like he's saying, like no, it's New Game Plus content is not available at launch, which is a problem.
Yeah, there's no New Game Plus. Like even those games had like New Game Plus had it.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima didn't have that at launch either.
Yeah, it didn't. That's why.
It's Spider-Man, I think.
I mean, that's why I keep saying even Ghost is like, well, most of the stuff is applied to getting all the collectibles and all that other stuff. This is why I made this argument, or I brought up this opinion, that most of these open world RPGs, all they tend to do is to cram everything in there as possible, like collectibles and all that other stuff, and then that's the replay value, as opposed to unlocking like new modes or features or stuff like that, and then they patch it in later. So that's like just a problem in general, in my opinion.
Yeah, that seems to be a common issue, like open world third person action adventure games, because if you notice, it's the same trend, it's the same crafting, it's the same perk level up. I think what happened was that this is just a formula everybody follows, but I do agree God of War could have been like if you ditch the RPG elements and you focus more on like exploration and combat, like you make that like the main focus, you can have something that's that could be really, really, really good.
Or just like places that I think a good thing to compensate would be places that you can't get into until after you've gotten like a certain weapon or item or stuff like that. They kind of tried to do that in this game, but I feel like it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough going around and unlocking new areas and fighting new enemies and all that other stuff. It was just, I have this item, let me get this collectible and bounce. That was it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exploration could be improved.
yeah, I feel the same way. So I guess we are done with that.
Oh, I forgot something.
Oh, go ahead.
They shouldn't bring back the rewards that you do for execution enemies, because you don't get a lot of incentive in doing them in 2018. Because like in the previous game, if you execute an enemy, either you get a lot of red orbs, it will AoE stun some enemies depending on the enemy type. You will get green orbs depending on the enemy type, and magic orbs back. Like God of War 2018 does not have that type of reward system for doing executions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing they gotta like at least readjust. But that's it.
You know, definitely like if you ask me, the unlockables way more superior over this formula, but we'll see what happens. And we're gonna move on to the next question here, which is how do you rank the franchise?
Oof. Okay.
Oof.
Honestly, my two favorite ones, top tier, is 3 and Ghost of Sparta. Those are like tied at number 1. Only because Ghost of Sparta takes the gameplay elements from 3, so it's vastly improved game overall because of that. And God of War 3 is just an amazing as a game overall. Like I cannot think of like a huge flaw with the game that will kill my enjoyment. I could beat the game in one sitting right now if I wanted to. Like that's how much I love the game.
Yeah, 3 felt like the perfect conclusion to that trilogy at the time. So I would put that at the top because when it came out, it was fucking awesome. And like I guess they had the pressure too, because from what I remember, they didn't just necessarily use Corey again. It was a new director named Stig or something. I think he also did Jedi Fallen Order as well as a director.
He started the studio Respawn, at least one of the heads. I
Yeah.
believe.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it wasn't just Corey. I think he was like producing, but it was a completely new guy.
He was a gameplay director too, so like keep that in mind as well.
Yeah. So he took the formula and pushed it from there, and I think it came out well. He did a damn good job.
Good.
Yeah, so I would say 3 is top. So many games. 3, 2. I probably would put Ghost of Sparta, from what I played from the demo, like up there as well. 1 is their first attempt, so it's not that high, but again, the plot is really fucking great, so I definitely would put that like 4th or 5th, somewhere around there. And then
Shit, my audio cut out a bit. Shit.
I was still like ranking the franchise, and then I would put like after 1 I would put like God of War 2018 and probably the rest of the lower tier God of War games until I actually play Ascension, and then give an opinion from there.
No, actually, no. I probably should rank these based on, I guess, like strong narrative rather than as a whole. Because if I rank gameplay, then Ascension 3 and Ghost of Sparta will be top tier,
Yeah,
because they
they're
all
gonna take
follow
it.
around each other.
Yeah.
But I guess for narratively speaking, though, again would be 3, or no, sorry, Ghost of Sparta over 3, because that right there just felt like the perfect game for Kratos' character that led up to God of War 2. 3, because it was like the perfect conclusion for his character at the time. Chains of Olympus, because you see more of Kratos' humanity. God of War 1, and then Ascension only because the story itself didn't feel necessary. Now, ironically though, that game they try to like show Kratos more softer side, which they did a good job at that. I will give them credit though, but it felt like such an unnecessary game and cash grab that I feel like the series would have been fine without Ascension. They could have just literally made God of War 4 and went on from there. That could have been God of War 4.
I guess since there's like a lot of games, I'm just gonna say my top 3 will be like like God of War 3 again, because I think it's like probably the best graphically looking one out of the original trilogy. Even at the time, people were saying like, "Oh, look, this game looks like a PS4." Yeah, no joke. People were saying that God of War 3 looked like a PS4 game, and I really liked it. Like I like the gameplay. I like the blades variation. I liked everything about it. I like the conclusion of it. I like the opening, how like a little like recaps the events that happen. in this like Greek art style. Looks really cool. As for my second, will be God of War 1. That's mainly because of nostalgia and the fact that I actually like experienced like got like the first game before it even came out with the demo disc. And I guess number three will be Ghost of Sparta because it felt like it actually like improved a lot like from God of War 3 into even if it was like a PSP spin-off, it was still pretty fun time. I actually like Atlantis as the setting, how you get to see it sink, how the game implies the Kratos had a big hand in singing Atlantis, which was pretty funny. And as for the rest, they're just like there's too many games, and if I really want to like rank all, then I'll have to like spend a couple of hours like
Oh
thinking
yeah,
about them.
yeah. It's a lot of ground to cover with this series.
Yeah, so that's my top three.
For me, I think 2018 is my favorite one. That's a bit of a controversial statement with y'all, but I don't know. I liked the narrative of the story, how it was told, and the gameplay. But 3 is a runner-up.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing wrong with liking it. Like I said, going back to it like retroactively, I enjoyed my time with it, but just the things I listed that I had problems with it were a lot more prominent than God of War 3, which is why 3 is like at the top for me because that game just felt perfect. It came out at the right time. The demo was fire. I remember playing that like a year ago when I got Resident Evil 5 for the first time, and it was awesome. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with liking that.
God of War 2018 was a lot more fun playing the second time around, to be quite honest, though. But first time around, it felt kind of rough in a lot of areas. But
Kind of did, to be honest. I'm on my second playthrough, and I'm like, yeah, I was definitely feeling it on my first.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say through 2018 again. Due to the fact that game was really long. I'll need like another year to decompress.
Oh man.
I still need to do most of the side content in that game. I didn't do the other world, that the fog level.
Oh, we didn't mention the fog level. I fucking hate
actually,
that level.
I did.
Oh,
I
you
did though,
did?
but
I must
I
have
didn't
been
go into
muted.
detail about it.
I must have been muted, or I must have missed that. But yeah, the fog level was. I just remember being there for 10 fucking hours because I wanted my platinum so bad, and I had like trial and error because there's traps in there and it can insta kill
Yeah.
you.
It's also RNG based as well, so like your path for the first time won't be the same the second time around. So you gotta at least memorize each layout, and then if you come across that layout again, then you know how to get through it. But the biggest pain in the ass was dealing with the Valkyrie.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hated that level so much. Fuck. Gonna have
Oh, since we're on this subject matter real quick, I looked it up in the game itself, and there's 3 realms that are not available because of Odin, and one of them is Asgard.
What's the other two? You know by name?
I'm not even gonna try to pronounce them.
Man, just post them in chat so I can like take a look.
Okay.
But until then, I guess we can move on to question number 13. So Mr. Eli, you want to read that?
13?
No, yeah, 13.
Okay, yeah. Did you play the multiplayer for Ascension? Do you think God of War even needs multiplayer to begin with? Sound off with your opinion.
Honestly, if they're gonna do a multiplayer, just do a co-op or like the challenge of the god stuff we just mentioned. Like that would have been perfect for a co-op type of game. Like yeah, just make it co-op. Don't make it PvP. I don't think God of War necessary.
I agree with you. I would love to see a co-op game in this universe.
I played the multiplayer and honestly, it felt like what I would usually describe it as attacked on mode where you can honestly just get Hades' claws and juggle people to death, which is what I did in the beta. So I thought that was like funny as fuck.
I didn't play the beta, and I didn't have fun with it at the time though, but I quickly dropped it.
Yeah, it's once you have a broken build, honestly, or you pick like that broken character and God, it's really broken, dude. Like it's awful. I had some dude in the corner and all he was doing was eating the Hades claws to death. and he couldn't do shit. I think it got so bad that he lagged off the map and then he rage quit, and I was like, that is fantastic. But it was fun for what it was, but I don't feel like it's necessary for God of War. It's like, if you told me that they need to do this multiplayer mode and they need to make a game out of that while also saying, here we have this expansive single player, all that stuff, we're gonna take precedence over this, I would say no, because it just feels like you would buy this game at $20 and that's it. That's the only reason why they made it. Yeah, so it's like, stick to the God of War stories. Multiplayer, if you want to make it, fine, but I think it should be an afterthought at best.
Mm-hmm.
I never played the multiplayer for Ascension.
It's crazy how so many people missed it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like most of us play the series for single player, you know?
Yeah.
No. Like, I mean, just real talk. I think the beta was also public as well when they first did it. So, that was back when RE5 was like coming out. So I'm amazed people missed that beta.
No, after RE5, it was around 2013.
When they dropped the first beta, or like the actual game?
Yeah, Ascension was coming out like around 2013 or so. So the beta would have been like earlier in the year.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually remember that you could get access to the closed beta if you had PlayStation Plus at the time. You had PlayStation Plus at the time,
Which I did.
and I did too. And I remember downloading it, and I got into the game, and then like, I don't know, like the servers were down or they were laggy, and I couldn't get into a game, so I just quit the game. I selected a god, I quit the game, and I never touched it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say for what it wasn't fun, because it definitely was fun. And again, it's like, since they advertised the fuck out of that game for Ascension, I'm still surprised people missed it, but it's whatever. The game came out, multiplayer was not super prominent as they would have probably liked it, and then they went back and said, time to soft reboot. So now we have God of War 2018.
Yeah, I think co-op will work really well for a God of War game. Not in the style of 2018, but in like in a fixed camera angle. You can even do like a mini side campaign with that.
Maybe they should like experiment. Like, I always thought God of War had all these side games based on single player story, but they never really took the time out to, you know, harbor the old gameplay while doing this whole ambitious soft reboot. So maybe they could go back to it if they really wanted to, and just pick a story where Kratos was doing something in a timeline that was before all the other stuff that happened in Norse mythology, or maybe after.
You could have a fun RTS game with Kratos leading armies.
leading the Spartans.
Actually, that doesn't sound like a bad idea in concept, considering he was a Spartan commander and whatnot. So that would be not a necessary spin-off title that takes place before the series, but it would be fun to see if they could experiment with that.
I wouldn't
Like
mind.
a Dynasty Warrior clone.
Dynasty Kratos.
Honestly, that feels more fitting than what we got in 2018.
That would be cool. Dynasty Warriors.
I take it.
God Warriors.
As long as it's not like just boring Muso all over again. I don't know.
Pantheon Warriors.
Pantheon Warriors.
Spartan Warriors.
It'll make sense. Kratos was a commander. You could have a Dynasty Warriors type of game like that.
I only played that game once, so I can't judge it too much.
The Barbarian is the last boss.
And you lose.
He almost killed him, so
Ares! Help!
No, like imagine that's like the climax of the game. Like it's a scripted battle where you try to kill him and he like one shots you and he's about to smash your head. And then Kratos calls to Ares, and then you just become like super powerful, and you just slaughter the guy.
oh yeah.
Okay, I know we're diverging from the question though, but it's quite interesting that the Barbarian was able to almost beat Kratos. Keep in mind now, since I know at the time it was not established that he was a demigod, but that's still quite impressive from the Barbarian to actually go toe to toe with Kratos like that. Okay. Anything else on question 13?
Nope.
Nope.
Said all I had to say.
Now we're good.
All right, I can read off number 14. Final question, you monstrosities. What is your most favorite costume within the series? Mine's is honestly the God of War armor in 2. And also, you can unlock it and go to Sparta and use it. He looks like an absolute Chad with that armor on.
He does. Yeah, I like his armor in that.
I like the Hydra armor from God of War 1. I actually thought it looked really cool. Like made out of the scales of the Hydra that you kill at like in the first level. That was pretty good. But if you want to go with like the more memey / jokey outfits, I'll say my favorite one will be like the lawyer Kratos. And the fish one, yeah, God of War. But yeah, I don't know, I just find it funny. Imagine Kratos being a lawyer, like 2 fucking briefcases and a suit.
Yeah, the briefcases. That's my favorite one, actually. Holy shit, that's so funny.
Also,
Did you know you could play as Athena in 2?
No.
oh, could you?
I did not.
Yep.
Yeah, you had to beat the game.
On hard, I think, or very hard.
Probably very hard because I've never heard of this.
Yeah, which, by the way, I think that the only God of War game that I've beaten on the hardest difficulty was 3. 3 and 1, I believe. And I will say, though, 3 on Chaos mode is tough. It's like, holy shit, that game mode is tough.
Oh yeah, I remember getting like before you like enter like Hades' domain. You had to fight like the Cerberus and a bunch of like little like horde mode of enemies. I remember getting my ass kicked by the 2 Cerberus.
Dude, the Cerberus in the final section was the hardest thing in the game, to be quite honest. I died to that thing more than I died to Zeus.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about the Infinity Gauntlet in 2018?
What do you mean, sir?
There's a gauntlet that you can put on, and at each stone. Brandon, do you want to explain it better?
Get the fuck out of here. You're
not
referencing
necessarily a
Thanos, or-
gauntlet. You could get like the Infinity Stones in 2018, and they mimic what they do in the MCU. You get a slowdown type the stone. You get this power buffs, that kind of shit.
Oh,
really,
I think I saw that before.
Actually, I could get a video real quick. If you guys don't mind.
But I didn't think too much of it at the time. But I think I saw that before posted by someone. It was a long time ago, but I never got this myself, actually.
Yeah, it's an actual Infinity Gauntlet.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Kratos, Thanos, both of them are bald, except one has a ball section, and the other one
And
has...
they both release, right? Well...
You say they both release? My god.
No, well, it came out in 2018, so did Infinity War.
I thought you were talking about something else. They both release to have a daughter.
No, I like that.
Well, hurry up, Brennan. You're taking 8 years.
Shut up. I'm trying to make sure it's the right one.
Hurry up, bitch.
Ragnarok will come out as soon.
Yeah, it is the right one. It's a whole gameplay segment, but yeah.
Gameplay segment of ass taking 8 years. Alright, let me see this. Fuck, I can't. Probably can't because it's probably some music. Oh, GameSpot. I ain't playing.
Yeah, they explain to you how to get these stones.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice Easter egg.
Can you use the stones to destroy the stones?
Haha.
Checkmate.
Oh yeah, one's called the Soul Stone.
It's called the Indian Stone for throw Brandon off a cliff. Do it.
Shut up.
You shut up.
I posted in chat. Shut up. All right. Now, that being said, though, we answered the question, right?
Yep, we did.
I think that wraps it up.
My favorite was if people didn't hear it, it was the briefcase business suit Kratos. That was funny.
Yeah.
Hey, Torres is back.
Hey.
Hello, black buddy.
Did you fall asleep?
Did you snore, Torres?
Snorris?
Cookie, y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Combination of both. I don't know. Wait, we're still on, right?
You
we're
fell
on-
asleep,
we're on
didn't you?
question.
We're
Okay.
about to end.
You're on literally on the last question, Chief.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a combination of you know, I'll talk about when it's over. It's kind of personal.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so and that was for like costumes, right?
Yes.
All right, real quick, at least let's give Torres a proper send off. How about your ranking of the franchise? At least list that off.
3, 2, 1. Chains of Olympus and 2018.
Damn.
Also, damn, I thought you really liked that game, Torres. All right.
Yeah, I thought you liked it.
This man surprising us, and I guess, do you want to do Ragnarok changes and wants and stuff like that, or you want to just end it?
I just ended.
All right, we can do that.
All right. Cool.
So
All right,
let's do
well-
outros.
Well, ladies and gentle monsters, gods and goddess, Aphrodite and Kratos bang in the bedroom. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to do outros now. I'm going to start with myself. I am the Immortal Brando. I am the God of War. You can find me on Twitter at, Immortal Brando. Eli, give your outro.
Alright, you can find me on Twitter at Gamma Eli, and I will devour the sushi just like Kratos devours his women.
All right. then.
All right, Operative, boy, get to work.
Shut up. You can find me on YouTube at Renegade Operative. You can find me on Twitter at RenOperative_.
Cool. All right, Torres, man, give your outro.
You could find me on Twitter at.
I'm sorry,
You
I
can
had
find me
to.
on Twitter at Band of Artists 25, and my new Twitter name is the Primary Alliance. So you can find me on there, and if you want to see art related stuff, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right, and last but not least, who are you again? Oh, Slasher. Outro yourself.
I am C Slasher. I'm the unknown guy because I'm barely on here, even though I'm trying more to be more involved in the podcast. You can find me on Twitter. Just look up C Slasher and you'll find me.
And yeah, thank you once again for watching or listening, depending how you do it. We apologize if some of our opinions were for you, Jimmy's. Not really. But again, I always have opinions. No, for the series, I always love God of War. So, no, all of us want different things. So, until the next time, on the next God of War adventure, please do not go anywhere near Greece or any Nordic areas, because there's a bald man that will probably kill you. Thank you for watching with Infinite Ammo,
way.
and we're signing off.
All right, remember to XO that pussy.
Oh my God, leave.
Don't forget